Once upon a time, in the heart of Bucharest, there lay an institution of higher learning known as Universitatea Romano Americana Bucuresti. It was here that I, a young maiden from a land far east of this ancient city, came to chase my dreams of scholarly pursuit. Yet what unfolded was a tale not of academic triumph, but of profound disillusionment. As I approached the grand edifice, I couldn't help but feel a flutter of excitement in my heart. The promise of an education steeped in the American tradition was a siren call to my ambitious soul. But alas, my enthusiasm was to be met with the cold indifference of a university that seemed to revel in its own dysfunction. The very first stanza of my tragic sonnet was the absence of a sanctuary for my modest Karyagith parking for students, was as scarce as honesty in politics. The guardian of the asphalt wassail realm was as unyielding as the winter frost, his countenance as welcoming as a hangman's noose. "Begone with your conveyance," he seemed to sneer, and so my journey began with a pilgrimage through the gauntlet of Bucharest's bustling thoroughfares. Inside the hallowed halls, the air was thick with the lamentations of my fellow scholars. A cohort of Bangladeshi dreamers and I, we were bound by the same cruel fate. Our offer letters, the golden keys to our future, had been lost in the labyrinthine bureaucracy, leaving us adrift in a sea of uncertainty, our hopes for the morrow drowned in the ink of administrative apathy. The pedagogues of this institution, self-styled sultans of scholarship, wielded their red pens with the capriciousness of a tempest. A single errant comma, a misplaced modifier, and behold, one's efforts were rewarded with the ignominy of a nullity. The hallowed principle of academic mercy was as foreign to them as the concept of empathy. Oh, the agony of toiling under the yoke of such tyrannical exactitude! The curriculum, once cloaked in the allure of American pedagogy, proved to be but a hollow facade. The vaunted American aspect was a chimera, a cruel jest. The curriculum was as outdated as the relics of a bygone era, and the interactions with the fabled American professors were as frequent as the visits of a comet. The connections to the academic havens across the Atlantic were as tenuous as a spider's web, and the promises of exchange programs dissipated like the morning mist under the harsh glare of the sun. The facilities, once grand and imposing, now lay in a state of dilapidation that would stir the pity of the most hardened heart. The classrooms, meant to be crucibles of learning, were instead bastions of discomfort, with the elements of nature waging war upon the shivering students in winter, and the oppressive heat turning them into captives in a sauna during the summer months. The administrative machinations were a theater of the absurd, where the program announced with fanfare today was apt to be but a fading memory on the morrow. The staff, entrusted with the care of our academic souls, were as helpful as a map of the stars to a drowning man. To request one's transcripts was to embark upon a quest as arduous as the labors of Hercules, with each step mired in the quicksand of indifference. The student body, a motley crew of lost souls, was riven by cliques as impenetrable as the fortresses of old. To be an outsider was to wander the halls as a ghost, unseen and unheard. The mental fortitude required to navigate this social labyrinth was as great as that needed to scale the towering peaks of the Carpathians. In the midst of this scholarly purgatory, I found myself yearning for a champion, a knight in shining armor to cut through the Gordian knot of incompetence. But alas, my cries for justice fell upon ears as deaf as the statues that adorned the university's once proud facade. And so,
In the shadow of the Universitatea Romano Americana Bucuresti, the pulse of commerce beats with a rhythm that echoes the heart of the city. Yet, as we stroll through the avenues that cradle this academic institution, one cannot help but feel a sense of unease. The businesses here, draped in the promise of service and quality, often fall short of their allure, leaving a trail of disenchantment that whispers through the reviews of those who came seeking more. Let us first set our sights on AFI Katrosny, a behemoth of commerce that stands as a testament to the city's growth. Yet, within its gleaming facade lies a cacophony of complaints. Picture this: a mountain of garbage, a jungle of humidity, and a labyrinth where the lights flicker like the dying embers of customer satisfaction. The once welcoming restrooms now evoke the ambience of a neglected truck stop, where the toilets harbor tales of neglect, and the air is thick with the scent of disappointment. It's a place where patience is tried and wallets are tested, as even the simple act of parking becomes a gamble with your hard-earned lay. Not far from this retail giant, the aroma of grilled meats and the promise of culinary delights beckon us to Sharkia. Alas, our anticipation is met with a service that moves at the pace of a sloth in siesta, and a bill that could make even the most seasoned diner choke on their overpriced, underwhelming cocktail. The restaurant, it seems, is a gamble where the house always wins, and the guests are left to ponder the culinary sleight of hand that left their wallets lighter and their stomachs grumbling. As we traverse the cobblestone paths, the warm embrace of a cozy cafe calls out. 5 to Go, with its tantalizing promise of caffeine and comfort, instead offers a brew of rudeness so potent that it threatens to overshadow the quality of their coffee. Here, the baristas wield sarcasm as deftly as an espresso machine, leaving a bitter aftertaste that lingers long after the cup is empty. In the heart of the city, the tomb of the unknown soldier stands as a solemn reminder of the past. Yet, even this hallowed ground is not immune to the criticisms of the present. The monument, once a bastion of remembrance, now faces the indignity of becoming a backdrop for the mundane, where the reverence of history is lost amidst the whir of bicycles and the chatter of picnics. Our journey takes us to Otio Estiori, a place where the pursuit of a perfect cup of coffee is met with the harsh reality of tourist traps and questionable ethics. Here, the currency of trust is spent as quickly as the cash from your pocket, and the only thing warmer than the coffee is the deceit hidden within its depths. Finally, we find ourselves at Sip Bucharest, a cocktail bar that promises an evening of sophistication and delight. Yet, the allure of its ambience is often marred by the unpredictability of its accessibility and the inconsistency of its offerings. It's a place where expectations are as shaken as the cocktails, and the night can turn from promising to problematic with a single sip. In this tapestry of tales from the businesses surrounding Universitatea Romano Americana, Bucharesti, a pattern emerges. It is a quilt of disappointment, stitched with the threads of unmet expectations and seasoned with a pinch of salt from the tears of tourists and locals alike. As travelers, we are but explorers in the vast ocean of consumerism, seeking refuge in the promise of a good deal or a delightful meal. Yet in this corner of Bucharest, it seems that the waves are against us and the currents of commerce are treacherous. So, let us tread carefully, with eyes wide open and our wallets held tight, for in this land of promise, the reality often bites. Remember, dear wanderer, that the charm of a city is not solely found in its businesses, but in its ability to surprise and delight despite the odds.
As you navigate the streets near Universitatea Romano Americana, Bucharesti, may you find the gems that shine through the murk.
So I've been looking into these stories about scams near Universitatea Romano American Bucharesti, and it's really sad, There's this one story where tourists thought they found a gem of a shop, real authentic stuff, close to the university. But it turned out to be a total fake. The goods were just cheap knockoffs. I can only imagine how disappointed they must have felt, especially after they had probably told all their friends about the great deal they got. And the scammers, they probably just packed up and moved on to the next unsuspecting visitor. It's they don't even care about the trouble they cause, right? Then there was this other incident at a nearby cafe, a place that seemed so cozy and welcoming, perfect for a break after visiting the university. The menu had all these fancy prices, and the tourists, thinking they were getting the real European experience, didn't bat an eye. But when the bill came, it was like they had been hit by a train. The prices were inflated beyond belief, and they had no choice but to pay. I bet they felt so stupid afterward, how could they not see it coming? And the cafe? Oh, they were still in business, probably laughing all the way to the bank. And it's not just about the money, it's the feeling of being tricked, the breach of trust. It's like these tourists came to Bucharest with such high hopes, and then to be treated like this, it's just wrong. I can't help but feel for them. Imagine their shock and the arguments they might have had among themselves, questioning whose fault it was. It's like watching a friend get their heart broken, and you can't do anything about it. I wish I could say that's all, but there's more. Remember that souvenir shop right by the university? The one with all the colorful trinkets in the window? Tourists flock there, thinking they were buying a piece of Romania to take home. But some of them, they ended up with broken items or stuff that fell apart the moment they got back to their hotel. I mean, can you imagine? You were excited to show your friends and family what you got, and then It's like it just crumbles in your hands. And the shop owners, they ray nowhere to be found the next day. They've probably moved on to scam someone else, leaving the tourists to deal with their disappointment. It's just so disheartening, you know. These people come to Bucharest, to this area near